who just stepped into the studio?
Incredible.
International phenomenon. Eddie Izzard is with us. Do you
I'm
like
a phenomenon.
that? You're a phenomenon.
That is very kind of you, because that's a great word to have.
Decades long.
I quite like being a phenomenon.
Yes, you are. Decades-long phenomenon. Obviously, you came to a prominence in America with one of the great comedy specials of all times. I would argue, and you're doing this tour. Let's just get this out of the way off the top here, because I'm having a little bit of trouble figuring this out. And right. Eddie, you have to help me with this. You're going to be at the Chicago Theater for 3 nights coming up this June. It's part of the USA portion of your world tour, Force Majeure.
Yep. And
by the way, tickets available at chicagotheater.com or eddieIzzard.com. It's June 7th, 8th, and 9th. Now.
And the 5th.
And the 5th. You're taking the 6th off.
I go to Normandy for the D-Day Beaches commemoration, where I will do...
Look who just stepped into the studio.
Incredible.
International phenomenon. Eddie Izzard is with us. Do you
I'm
like
a phenomenon.
that? You're a phenomenon.
That is very kind of you, because that's a great word to have.
Decades long.
I quite like being a phenomenon.
Yes, you are. Decades-long phenomenon. Obviously, you came to a prominence in America with one of the great comedy specials of all times. I would argue, and you're doing this tour. Let's just get this out of the way off the top here, because I'm having a little bit of trouble figuring this out. And Eddie, you have to help me with this. You're going to be at the Chicago Theater for 3 nights coming up this June. It's part of the USA portion of your world tour, Force Majeure.
Yep. And
by the way, tickets available at chicagotheater.com or eddieIzzard.com. It's June 7th, 8th, and 9th. Now.
And the 5th.
And the 5th. You're taking the 6th off.
I go to Normandy for the D-Day Beaches commemoration, where I will do 3 gigs in one night. The first hour in German, the second hour in English, and the third hour in French. As a tribute to anyone who gave a damn, who fought on that day, even people from the German side who thought Hitler was an idiot, but I've got to do this because it's my country. Hopefully they would have thought 70 years later some idiot's going to do a show in German and then in English and then in French. That's a positive thing.
Wow.
That's what I'm doing on my day off.
Here's and your day, right, it's day off. Flying to, I guess we got to go into Paris, right?
I'm flying to Paris. I take a car from Charles de Gaulle up. I get there at 11 in the morning. I will go to 1 or 2 events for the commemoration of 70 years. Then at 7 o'clock I'm on, and I hopefully will stream it. So you can actually go to hopefully eddieis.com and be able to see these shows going out in 3 languages.
I'm so confused. I'm still working the time difference in. I'm like, what time is your June 5th show?
So that will be, is
that here in Chicago?
That'll be an 8 o'clock show, I believe. And then, how do I fly? I think I fly that night. Yes, I got to fly that night, and I get in about 9 in the morning.
We're just working the timing here. And you're flying out of Indianapolis, I think, right?
Yes, I have to go somewhere and fly out. Not
even out of here.
Yeah, it'll be somewhere crazy, we've all worked it out. We've worked it out. I've got the place set up. Any profits go to Doctors Without Borders, Médecins Sans Frontières, brilliant French guys. They go in places where people won't go in. And I added the German one because I've just done 2 months in Germany doing gigs in German.
Let's talk about this, because comedy is about timing. It's about use of language. It's all about, it's a very refined art to people who do. And I think, you're not a big ad-libber. I mean, you've written shows, right?
No, I do love ad-libbing, yeah. I do. The show, I usually know what show I'm doing, but I will ad-lib as much as possible. I go off on B roads, A roads, side roads, and then I come back onto the main.
But you know what your main stuff is, that you've written, that you've honed, the stuff that you know that works.
I never actually write anything down, but I've verbally sculpted it into position.
So once it's verbally sculpted into position, were you fluent in German? And
I did 2 years at school between 76 and 78, and then I went back in January and just started learning. My brother is the expert. My brother Mark Izzard, he translates the show into the languages. I learn it almost like a play, and then I recite it from a memory, but I do understand what I'm saying. It is my show. But I also do German conversation 3 hours every day. And so jetzt ich kann mein Show auf Deutsch machen, und ich kann auf Deutsch reden, and so I can just talk away in German as well.
That's amazing. How many people can do that?
German is not a pretty language. I think we'll all agree on that.
No, Hitler ruined it, right? Because Hitler was screaming, "We're going to kill you, we're going to murder you." Do that in any language, and you think, I don't really like that language.
That's true.
You go to Berlin, you sit there and you watch a magazine program, and they're just going, "No, good, now and here we stand." That's music, classical music. You listen to classical music radio, Joe, and it's smooth and sweet, and if you scream it and say, "I'm going to murder people," that's not a good idea. It's not a good sales pitch for your language.
And French? Are you fluent in French?
Oui, maintenant, about 70% fluent. So I'm about 70% fluent in French, 40% in German, and about 2% fluent in Spanish.
Have you done a show? Have you done the shows in these languages and a joke is absolutely great bombs, and then you stop and think, did I just invert those words?
Well, there was one. I did say that the Greeks have this idea of healthy mind and healthy body, an ancient Greek Olympic ideal. And I was saying, as kids we were fit, but then as adults our bodies become like two weasels covered in gravy nailed to the back of a tractor.
Ooh,
now,
how does that translate?
In German, that is,
wow.
In German, that is wie zwei Wiesel mit Soße begossen, die auf die Rückseite eines Traktors genagelt sind. And that's correct words. It took me 3 weeks to learn to say that. But as I got it better and better, they laughed less and less because there's a certain musical poetry to the English of two weasels covered in gravy nailed to the back of a tractor. It kind of flows in a silly way, but in German it was just oddly sounding. So I had to change it to a washing machine full of frogs that's been sat on by an elephant to get the right analogy. And so sometimes it doesn't
tweak
work.
It a little bit.
You can do plays on words.
And he explains it. You're also going to do this. You said in Spanish, in Russian too, right?
Russian's the one after Spanish, yeah, and then Arabic.
Do you speak Russian or Arabic? I'm like a high school teacher now asking you questions, but
I was born in Yemen. I was born in Aden in Yemen, so I was born in Arabic country. Me and my brother, so we both have this burning desire to learn Arabic in Cairo. Cairo or Beirut is the place to do it. Cairo's got to calm down a bit, and then I'll get in there and do that.
The whole region's got to calm down, Eddie. Let's be honest. But.
Well, not particularly there at the moment, just because it was heading in a good direction. Well, democracy, we're all for democracy, so if they can get democracy going, but it's gone a bit back to frontier at the moment. Anyway, so then I can learn the language and get back to Aden, my hometown, Aden in bottom of Yemen, and then do a gig there in Arabic. That would be beautiful, I think.
Interesting. I'm just looking at your nails. They're nicer than mine. Have you seen his nails? I mean, I'm feeling like self-conscious that I need a manicure.
And they got flags on as well, you see.
And you've got the British flag and
the European flag.
The European flag.
British European transvestite. It's a political statement. So when I run for office, when I run for Mayor of London in 2020, I will have these. It just saves you having to say, by the way.
You kind of already know. You sort of communicated.
Have you just made a political announcement? Are we going to make the Daily Mail? What did you just do? Or have you already announced this?
I'm afraid I announced it in Louisville.
Oh my gosh, you did it in Louisville?
Yes, I was in
Louisville.
Louisville.
You didn't wait for the Rokan show in Chicago?
It was quite interesting. No, I said that I was going to definitely go for mayor in 2010, so it's 4 years old. But I keep getting refound. It keeps becoming new news. They say, "You're running." I'm doing an Al Franken. I'm doing a Senator Al Franken. That's what I'm doing. coming from the world of comedy and going into.
Are you serious? You do want to pursue this in 2020?
Oh yeah, no, that's happening. I've got 6 years to do as much as I can in drama, Hannibal Lecter series, all the stuff that I could do, Treasure Island, do all the drama, do all the comedy, learn the languages, run the marathons, and then I'll go into politics for a decade. Or they might reject me at the thing, and I'll be straight out. Okay, forget that. Then I'm back.
And Mayor of London is where you'd like to start.
Yes, I'd like to Mayor of London or Member of Parliament. I could go for either as a general election and a mayor's election at the same month, May of 2020. So we'll have to see who gets in. There's another election before that, so we have to see who gets in.
Oh, but Mayor of London. Well, it seems like Mayor of London. What is London? 11 million, something like that.
Yes, it's something like 11 million.
And so it seems like that would be a pretty complicated deal right there, right? That's the bigger gig as opposed to member of parliament.
Yes, but it's you in charge of transportation and the police, but the rest of that is under central government. So it's more ambassadorial. It's seen as more ambassadorial than necessarily totally administrative. But you're a big cheerleader for the city to encourage people to, to do their best to come up with new ideas, to lead that direction. So I'll put all the energy that I've done into everything I was doing beforehand into that, and I'll know a few languages as well, so I can be able to.
This. Yeah, that will actually Arabic would be huge.
Seriously,
right?
Yeah, it'd be just great to be able to chat in Arabic. That'd be beautiful.
You met this Rahm Emanuel cat that we've got?
We were just talking about. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He'll give you a few pointers on how this gets done.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Not much of a sense of humor. Not big on the humor, though. At least not publicly. Privately, I'm sure there's a lot of it.
But he chose to take on mayor of this big city. It's a difficult job, yeah?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. And it's not making it any easier, I can tell you that. But if you do meet with him and you do ask him anything, he may try to kill you. Just know that. Always have a bodyguard with you at any given moment. He's a very intense man. I guess that's the way to put it. All right, back with Eddie Izzard. Just a moment. His Force Majeure tour pulls into the Chicago Theater June 7th, 8th, and 9th. Tickets go on sale.
And the 5th.
But in Indianapolis, I think you're in Indianapolis.
No, I think I'm at the 5th here, am I?
No, you're not.
No, your manager is giving him the back and forth.
Yes.
No,
you are not. I'm sorry.
You know 6 languages, but you don't know your tour dates. Okay.
I'm sorry, Eddie. You are
encyclopedically memorized my
I know. I was going to say you've got amazing memory.
Okay.
I can tell.
No,
I'm sorry.
You're wrong.
You're wrong. But we will
right.
move on to the lightning round right after this.
89 WLS. Check out the latest video and photo galleries, Weather Channel forecasts, and on-demand traffic, all at WLSAM.com.
Eddie Izzard in the studio with us. Sheer comic genius, New York Times called you.
That was very nice of them, wasn't it?
That was very nice of them.
High praise.
I've been always looking for that myself.
But I must agree with you. You're better at dates than I am, and the 5th I am not in Chicago.
You're welcome for that. But June 7th, 8th, and 9th, Eddie's going to be here at the Chicago Theater Force Majeure tour. It's his USA leg of this international tour. One of the day, and again, I'm just going back. If you missed this, I'll just recap it for you very quickly. He's playing Indianapolis on the 5th, and he's getting on a plane, commercial, flying to France, going to do 3 shows in 3 languages, all in 3 hours at Normandy for the commemoration, June 6th of D-Day.
D-Day.
And then, boom, back on a plane, back here to Chicago Theater. I would say, this is people, if you're going to choose a night to buy a ticket for, go with June 7th because you don't know what Eddie's going to do on stage, and neither does he.
That's going to be an interesting day, but it will be beautiful if we pull this all off. And I'm hoping to get I just want people to grab hold of this story. I just think it's a good thing to do, and it's a crazy thing to do.
Yes,
but I've already tested it at Yale University, and it works. I can do 3 because the trouble is you bleed. I was doing after the German show. I started swearing in German in the French show.
Now you're doing it in 3 languages: English, French, and German.
Yeah,
yes,
and I swear in English, French, and German as well. So I make sure the swear words are in there. This is the thing that some of the translators had difficulty with. But my brother Mark, he translates everything. You
know what's really interesting though is that swear words, the concepts are very similar, right?
Right.
I mean, it's generally scatological or penetrative, right? I mean, those are prostitute is one of the strong ones in Spanish and French. It's putain, and we can say, you can say that.
You can swear in
feel free. Yeah.
The second language swearing doesn't matter. You can use all the English swear words in Germany. They don't care about.
They don't know, but here's strong Spanish-speaking population.
although I think that the F word in German means 4 or 5 different things because it sounds like everything else that is being said there. What is so that's a big one, right?
Yes.
That's just a prostitute but we have But it translates into English in a different way. We use a different word.
Whenever you translate them backwards and forwards, they don't mean anything. And also, even our ones, if you take it out of context, you go, so you just say that? You just say the intercourse word, and that's going to be the strongest thing you can say? Intercourse cut down into a shortened form. That will make people go away. If you put off at the end of it.
Or you.
Yes.
Or it.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But what I did like was that I am swearing hopefully perfectly in these other languages, and that the teachers at school would say to me, well done, Izzard, you've been doing shows in 4 languages now, excellent. But stop swearing, I'm going to hit you over the head with this ruler. Now get to the back of the class, get to the front of the class, and you're confusing me.
All right. Well, go see Eddie Izzard at the Chicago Theater. His world tour comes to Chicago on the 7th, 8th, and 9th of June. And if you wish to get tickets for that, tickets are available at chicagotheater.com or Eddie Izzard, Izzard, and it's Eddie, Eddie, of course, .com. You can get the tickets there, and also follow. You're going to live stream on the website. I'm assuming your activity and
that night, that thing on the 6th. You mean? Yeah, that's the plan. I'm just going to set up my computer at the back and try to work out the cheapest way of doing it with that, because I can't afford to bring a camera crew in.
This is the craziest thing in the world. You're going to all this expense and trouble, and then you're gonna do what every grade school parent does at the junior recital by putting up the camera actually off of your laptop in the back.
And hopefully no one nicks the laptop.
Right. And then it bumps into it, and it'll be staring at a flag instead of, and you're just sort of in there in the back. All right. Yeah. Well, best of luck. It is an amazingly adventurous thing that you're doing. So thank you for doing that on behalf of all of the, on behalf of the allies. I don't know. Can we still say?
Yeah, sure.
I'm part of the allies, and even for the of modern German people who since 1945 have tried to be exemplary about not going there again, because Hitler did kidnap the country, and the people who did get up and say, actually, I disagree with this. They went to concentration camps. They were executed on the spot. Right. So if you do kidnap a country, I mean, North Korea, must be a number of people there who say, actually, I don't agree with all this, but you can't say it. Right. So, we understand this thing. So modern Germany, yes, big thumbs up.
All right. Eddie, thank you very much for being with us. Good luck. And I know these are going to, this is an international comic genius, and your opportunity to see him in a great venue at the Chicago Theater coming your way in June. Back with the top 5 right after this.